You know what time it is. It's time for another episode of the 7 and a Hook Podcast, the world's premier sports betting podcast. Your source for the best information and insight when it comes to sports wagering. We cover it all because you bet on it all. So let's head up to the studio and get this show rolling.
Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of the 7 and a Hook Podcast. I am Brooksie, the Irish Insider. Hey, hope everybody's having a great day. Matter of fact, I hope everybody's having a great week. It is Friday, man. The weekend is upon us. And, we got a lot of action. Super Bowl ended last week. NFL season ended last week. But, hey, you know what? We got a lot of stuff to go. We got the NBA is still in full effect. They got All-Star Weekend this weekend. NHL is in full bore. We got NASCAR. Matter of fact, we got the Daytona 500 coming up this weekend. And I'd like to say Major League Baseball was coming because it should, right about now, should be pitches and catches. But those two sides seem farther away than, Siberia and Alaska or whatever. So hopefully they get that wrapped up and we can get baseball back in. But right now, they're still in negotiations. But anyways, so tonight on the agenda, we're going to do some NHL. We've got a few games on tap, and we're going to talk a little NASCAR. When I say we, it's going to be myself and my co-host tonight, Jimmy D. D for double down, because when Jimmy gives you a pick, you better play it, because it's good. I'm going to dial him up shortly on the 7 and a Hook hotline. But before we get going, again, I want to send a big thanks to the folks at The Boat in Drake. Why? Well, last weekend, myself and my other co-host, Dougie Betts, we did our first remote show. That's right, we took the show on the road, and we broadcast on Super Bowl Sunday. Again, that was at The Boat at 294 Tingsboro Road in Drake, Mass. Good news is, crowd liked what we were doing, and the ownership liked what we were doing. So we're going to be back there in a few weeks. So there'll be more to come, announcements to follow. But anyways, tonight, it's about the NHL, and we're going to break down the Daytona 500. So let me dial up my co-host tonight, and that is Jimmy D. So let's see here. As I said, I love technology. I'm going to dial him up. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Looks like it's ringing. Okay, looks like we might got it. Hey, Jimmy D, you on the line with us?
Hey, Brooksie, how are ya?
All right, man. All right. Happy Friday to you. How'd the day treat you? Okay? You ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. A little bit. I know I was supposed to meet up with you guys last week down there at the boat, but I got a little slip on the ice and I hurt my knee. So unfortunately, I couldn't be there with you and Dougie Betts. But I listened to you guys. It sounded great.
Yeah, listen. Like I said, the good thing is the crowd liked us and the ownership liked us. So I think this is going to kind of be a regular thing. And when I say a regular thing, maybe every couple of weeks, maybe once a month. I don't know yet. We're negotiating with the owners of the boat to see what we can do. But they definitely want us back. And the folks that were in attendance, we had a bunch of people come up to us after the show. Hey, you're coming back. As a matter of fact, they were asking for shirts and hats and everything else. So I guess that's a good sign, right?
Yeah, well, that's kind of one of my old hangouts.
Oh yeah.
I invested a lot of money in that place. So yeah, I like it. Did you have anything to eat down there? Because when I went down there, I was there about 3 weeks ago, I guess. I had the Cuban sandwich, which was top notch. So
yeah.
I know. What I loved about the boat is it's kind of at night they got the young guns are out there, right? The bands, and you can go there and have a good time. But a little early in the day, the old folks like me and you can go in there and have a beer, watch a game. Great food. So yeah, that is a great place.
Yeah, it is.
A little north of Boston, which you don't usually have places like that north of Boston. You usually got to go to the city. So yeah, the boat is a great place. And like I said, sorry I missed it last week, but the ice caught up to my knee.
You're on injured reserve, but you're coming off injured reserve soon. Okay.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
We'll get you back for an upcoming show. But yeah, food was great. The Flame and Fortune kitchen there and catering, man. It's not bar food, Jimmy D. I mean, it's just it's real comfort food, casual, really tasty. Dougie Betts, I think he had like 3 things on it. I mean, you know what? Hey, he's a growing boy, so you got to feed him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but
and the owners there are top notch, top of the world. Devin and Devin, I forget the names, but Devin and the other guy there.
Dave, good.
Just top guys. You know what I mean? They so yeah. If you're in that area, or you're around Drake, or even New Hampshire, or even anywhere pretty much in Mass, it's a nice place to stop, and check the schedule. I know they have great bands there during the week.
They
and,
do.
Food's reasonable, and the beer's reasonable. So and this if you're a female or male, whatever you like, they get some good looking people showing up there too. So I know you like that at night. So
just really, really nice place to hang out. And listen, they got blueberry beer on tap, so I'm in. You know what I'm saying? I'm in. But anyways, all right, I digress about beer. Hey, before we get to, I told our audience tonight we're going to be breaking down some NHL, in our Light the Lamp segment. We got 4 spotlight plays. You got 2, I got 2. And then we're going to look at the Daytona 500, which is taking place this weekend. But, before we get there, your thoughts on Super Bowl 56. Did it live up to the hype? Did it not? What kind of expectations did you have? And what do you think about the finish?
Yeah, I mean, the game, it was solid. I mean, you watched it from start to finish. It was entertaining. Last year, being a Boston guy, I still watched the whole game because of Brady.
Right.
But I think a lot of people probably turned off last year's game. But this game, it was entertaining. Like I said, from start to finish. The Rams pulled it out. I think the league, especially in the AFC, is real nervous about the Bengals. I think they're going to be a team to beat for years to come. Yeah. They hung in there good. The only thing I didn't like about the game was the commercials. Other than the Budweiser commercial, I thought the commercials were lousy. But that was just my opinion.
No, listen, we got a bunch of emails from people that tune into the show, and same thing. It was disappointing. Like I don't know and Dougie Betts and I went over. It was $6.5 million for 30 seconds.
Wow.
Like there should be all those companies. I don't know. I can't say ask for a refund, because you created the commercials, but maybe they should get a refund for the marketing people that put these commercials together, because they were not very good.
I didn't thought they were lousy, but maybe I don't know what age group or what generation they were going for. I just didn't.
Don't know.
My parents are still alive, and they didn't even like it. So
sometimes you get maybe 3 or 4, you know what I mean, that are really good, and one that really stands out. And the Budweiser one, okay, yep, good. But nothing's really like, wow. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really remember any of them. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's not good. That was money not well spent, I guess.
Yeah, I remember, like I said, the Budweiser one. Other than that, I really, with the dog and the Porsche.
Yeah,
I don't remember any of them.
No, I don't. So, you know what? There was a lot of money that didn't go very far, so to speak. So. But anyways, Super Bowl's over. Rams win, but the Bengals covered. You know what I mean? They got 4 and they lost by 3. But I agree. The Bengals, again, unless all these players decide to become free agents and go elsewhere, I think they're going to be a team to reckon with for a number of years now. So, all right, let's get right to our picks and plays tonight. So, we're going to go right to the NHL in our Light the Lamp segment. So Jimmy D, what do you have for your first spotlight play?
Yeah, one of the early games that I've been watching and looking over is the Nashville versus Carolina. It's at Carolina. Both teams are kind of in a little bit of a losing streak. Carolina's lost its last 2 games. Nashville's lost its last 3. Carolina, they're solid team. They're second in the Metro. They're up a point on the Rangers, and Nashville's the number 1 spot in the wild card. Nashville, they got a solid team. The goalie, UC Saros. I hope I pronounced his name right.
Pretty close.
He's an all-star, but he's lost his last 3 games. And and the defense, Roman Josi is a great offensive player. I think he leads their team with points with 48. I wouldn't call him the greatest defenseman you got. And then of course they got Forsberg with 24 goals, stud, and Duchesne I think he's leading the team with points with 43. That being said, Carolina, they get the two centers. They get the center there, Sebastian Rayo. He's got 21 goals, 41 points, and the right wing there, Andre Savenchikov. He's a 20-goal scorer already. So, and then the defense, D'Angelo and Slavin, 39, 26 points apiece. They both play big minutes, well over 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, a lot of ice time.
Minutes a game.
Yeah.
And then the goalie Anderson, stud. I looked it up. He's got a 2.07 goal against average. It's third in the league. He's a stud. With that being said, I am taking Carolina minus the 160.
Okay.
I think being at home, they have a home winning streak. They're really tough at home. I was watching the over and under on the goals. It's actually gone down.
Yeah.
Sometime during the day. It's down to 5 and a hook.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm still taking the under there. So
yeah,
that's how I feel this game's going to go.
Yeah, no, that's a good breakdown, and yeah, I mean I saw that line move too. You know what I mean? So I think the smart money's on the under tonight. So okay, all right. So my first game on my NHL spotlight sheet is the Florida Panthers on the road travel to take on the Minnesota Wild. Okay, so Florida Panthers are a minus 130 favorite on the road. The Wild is a plus 110 underdog at home. Goal total set at 6 and a hook. Okay, so Panthers, they come into this game 33-10 and 5, 71 points. They sit atop the Atlantic Division in the Eastern Conference, 1 point ahead of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now they're coming off a 3-2 overtime win. You just mentioned Carolina. They beat Carolina at Carolina in overtime a couple nights ago, 3-2. They're led by superstar, and again, I'm going to put that in air quotes, superstar, because I got some comments about it, and that's Jonathan Huberdeau. Okay, Huberdeau. I know I'm saying it wrong, but Huberdeau. He's got 17 goals on the season, 49 assists, so he's been handing the puck out a lot. He's got 66 points. Now, he also had 2 assists the other night in the win over Carolina. And all right, let's go back to what I said about air quote superstar. He's a great player. He's all-star. In the last 2 years, I think he's made the all-star team. Now, Jimmy D, this guy was the number 3 pick overall about 8 or 9 years ago. He won the Calder Trophy, so Rookie of the Year. But in my opinion, he has not lived up to the hype. What say you?
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know. He doesn't seem the same player as he was before. He just doesn't seem as hungry.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if he's playing with an injury, but you're right. He's not living up to what the potential was for him.
No,
should be for him.
I think he's a very good player. Like I don't want to say he's kind of a stinker, because he's not. But he was supposed to be a lot more. Yeah. Okay, and he hasn't done it yet. So, but anyway, but he is leading the team in points. So again, he's doing what he needs to do on the Panthers. All right, let's look at the Wild real quick. 30, 12, and 3 on the season, 63 points. Now they're second place in the Central Division in the Western Conference. Now they're, I think, 10 points behind Colorado. Colorado's just in a different stratosphere than any other team right now. So I don't think they're going to catch Colorado, but I don't think they're going to lose much ground. I think they're going to stay kind of where they are. At home, they're a juggernaut. 16-3-1 at home. That's a tough place to play. I've been lucky enough, and you too, we get to travel a lot. I've been to a couple games at that place. 18,000 people every night. Doesn't matter who they're playing. And it's like everybody's on their feet the entire game, whether they're winning by 5 or losing by 5. It's just an unbelievable atmosphere. And you and I talk about hockey all the time. It was shocking that they actually lost a franchise, right, years ago. Okay?
Yeah.
But it's back in full force. It's back in full force, no doubt. All right, now they're coming off a loss, 6-3 on the road to Winnipeg. All right? They're averaging 3.7 goals a game, letting up 2.9. They're led by Kaprizov, 22 goals on the season, 37 assists. It's only his second year in the season. This kid is an up-and-coming star. How do I see this game? I'm like you. I'm going to look at that home record, Jimmy D. I just think they're a hard team to beat at home. Florida played a couple nights ago at Carolina. Another road trip up to Minnesota, hostile environment. I'm going to take Minnesota as a plus 110 underdog at home. And as far as the goal total at 6.5, I'm going to look up. Minnesota can score a lot of goals at home. I think you might have some tired legs with Florida. I'm going to go over the 6.5. So what do you got for your next spotlight play in the NHL?
Yeah, the late game, I got Vegas playing the Kings. They're playing in Vegas, which is an amazing arena and atmosphere to play.
Yeah.
They both played 2 games this year already, and each team has won one of the games. They were high-scoring games. I think there's about 8 goals scored. One game was 6-2. I think the other one was 6-3. But anyways, they've been high-scoring games. Vegas is a little bit of a slump. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've been shut out, which is kind of rare. And then LA's coming off a tough loss against Edmonton. I think they lost 5-2. LA's LA. You know, they still get the same guys. We all know Kopitar. He's got 14 goals, 42 points. He's kind of leading his team by a wide margin, by more than 10 points. You got the old veteran there, the defenseman Drew Doughty, who's as solid as they come.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he's got 25 points, and he's putting in 26 to 27 minutes a night on the blue line. He's solid, and kind of running the side there, Adrian Kemp. He's got 19 goals for the Kings. Where the Kings, I think, had a little bit of a problem. I don't think their goaltending is completely solid. Jonathan Quick's not having, I don't think, he's having a great year.
Yeah, he's not. You're right. Yeah.
And he seems to. I'm assuming he's going to play tonight because I think Peterson lost the last game. The backup goalie lost the last game to Edmonton. So I'm assuming Jonathan will play tonight. And the Kings, you know, they're going to come out to play. They get that second wild card barely. They're up by a point, so they need to get their points. Vegas Friday night with that crowd. You know, they're I think they'll be pumped and jacked to play. I think, you know, like I said, after losing the last 2 games by getting shut out, that's a rarity anyways, to get shut out 2 games in a row. They're second in the Pacific, as you know. What I do like about the Vegas lineup is very few people could probably name 5 players on that team. But if you look at their roster, the point spread is really, it's spread among the team.
You're right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you know, they got, you know, the Chandler Stevenson, I know he's got 38 points. And the center there, Jonathan Matsu, he's French, 20 goals, solid. And I think that what makes, you know, Vegas the you know, solid top team they are is the defense. You know, you get Shea Theodore and you got Alex Pietrangelo, who's a real good player. 27 points. He gives you 28 minutes a game on the ice. Like I said, Theodore's 32 points. He gives you 23 minutes or so on the ice. So that being said, I think there's going to be a lot of goals in this. But I am going to take Vegas minus the 160. And I am going the over, the 6 and over. So I just think there's going to be a lot of goals if it goes like the other 2 games.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you. I think they're coming off, their drought is ending tonight.
Yeah.
Right? So.
And the goaltender is not Robin Lehner. You know, he's, I think, 2.86 goals against. So neither goaltender on either team is, you know, it's not the days of Patrick Waugh in that. So, you know, it's. No. So that's where I'm going with that game.
Yeah, and this is kind of a little bit of a rivalry, right? I mean, you know, and these teams don't like each other, and I think, like you said, I think a couple times that they've met, they've scored a lot of goals. Yeah. And I think Vegas is ready to come out of there over and put some light the lamp, as we like to say. So, all right, my last spotlight game on tonight's card in the NHL, you got the Dallas Stars on the road. Travel to take on the Chicago Blackhawks. All right, Dallas minus 160 favorite on the road, and Chicago plus 140 dog at home. Goal total, Jimmy D, 5.5. All right, not a lot of respect for these 2 teams, and it is kind of justified because they're both not really lighting the lamp much this season. But all right, so Dallas, they come into this game 26-19-2. They've got 54 points. Disappointing. They're 5th in the Central Division. Now, they are playing okay hockey right now. Winners 3 out of their last 4, and most recently, a road win at Colorado. So, I mean, Colorado's best team in hockey. You fly there and you beat them, you get credit from me, because they beat them pretty handily, 4-1. Now, I mentioned lighting the lamp. Well, they're not doing that much. They're averaging about 2.9 goals a game. They're letting up a little over 3. All right. Joe Pavelski, all right, is their leading scorer. 21 goals, 31 assists, 52 points. That's a pretty solid season.
Yeah, that's solid.
Now, disappointing, folks? Well, one is Tyler Seguin. Okay?
Yep.
Jimmy D, he's got 16 goals and 11 assists for only 27 points so far. Okay? That's not Tyler Seguin. I mean, I know he's not the player he was 4 or 5 years ago, but this kid, and I say kid because he's obviously younger than us, and we remember him when he got drafted with the Bruins, so he's always going to be a kid to us. This kid should be scoring 40 goals a year.
Yeah.
Okay? He's that talented. All right? But he's just never put it together, right? I mean, there's just something missing where this kid, again, should be 35, 40 goals a year, 25 to 40 assists. Potential has the potential to be a Hall of Famer, but he's not going to make it, Jimmy D. He's not.
Yeah.
Okay?
You know, it's kind of amazing about that is that him and Taylor Hall were predicted, they went 1-2, or whoever one you wanted, and they both had kind of similar careers. I know Taylor Hall won the MVP a couple of years ago or 3 years ago, but both guys are you're right, they're kind of inconsistent. I mean, you watch them one and they're spectacular, but it's kind of funny how they're kind of similar players. You know, neither one kind of is consistent on a game basis. It's always, you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, and I just think I think he likes being a celebrity just as much as he likes being a hockey player, right?
Yeah. There's always rumors about that in Boston. You're right.
Yeah, and versus like a guy like Sidney Crosby, he's a hockey player first, and then a celebrity after. Matter of fact, he just netted his 500th goal the other night. So congrats to him. So all right, the Blackhawks, again, disappointing season. 18, 25, and 7, 43 points. They're second to last in the Central Division. Really, really poor. Now they're coming off a home loss, 7-4 a couple nights ago to Columbus. Columbus just manhandled them and kind of beat them up a little bit too. It was kind of an embarrassing show from the Hawks. Patrick Kane, still their leading scorer, but not much going on, Jimmy D. 12 goals, 35 assists, 47 points. That's, for your leading scorer, that's not much. Okay? No. Again, his talent level has dropped off I guess the mountain, right? Since 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, wow, what a he was scoring 100 points a couple years ago, 3-4 years ago. I don't know, that's not going to happen this year. Now, they're averaging, and this shows 2.4 goals a game, Jimmy D. Whoa, okay? Letting up almost 3.5 goals a game. That math doesn't usually work out well. Marc-Andre Fleury is their goalie, okay? Jimmy D, he's not their problem. All right, when he's in net and he's played most of their games, his goals against is 2.8. All right, he's got no defense, and he's still letting up under 3 goals. Okay, but they don't score for him. Okay, so he's not the problem. Now rumors are flying because odds are Chicago's not making the playoffs. So Fleury's name has been footballed around, and listen. They asked him the other day point blank, and they said, listen, are you open for a trade? And he's like, yeah, I guess so. He's got to play the team. And he says, but only if it's a place where I can make the, he's got to go to a contender. He's not going to go to just some, not so good team. If he's going to get traded, he wants to go to a contender. And you know what, Jimmy D? That guy wins Stanley Cups. So keep an eye on him. Maybe getting moved by trade deadline is March 21st. So Mr. Fleury might be on the move. Okay.
Well, if he goes back to Vegas, they could use a goalie again.
I know. Why they got rid of him, I still don't understand.
Yeah.
Okay. But yes, wouldn't it be funny if he went back there? Okay.
Yeah, that would be. It would be. They'd want him back.
I know they do. And he's a really good locker room guy too, right? Yeah. Every team he's played on, even Chicago, they say they don't want him to leave, but they understand if he does.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right. So what do I see tonight? All right, Chicago has put up 2 big stinkers at home last 2 games. Okay, I don't see them putting up 3. Okay, no. I think they're going to come to play tonight. It's Friday night in Chicago. Dallas is not a goal-scoring team. Okay, so I think this line, I don't know what, sometimes the book kind of gives you a freebie. No freebies, but I mean, to make Dallas a minus 160 favorite, I that was way overinflated. So I'm going to take Chicago at home tonight as a plus 140 dog. And the 5 and a hook, I know these teams don't score a lot of goals, but I think you're going to see Chicago come to play tonight. Just like you were talking about Vegas, I'm going over. I'm going to go over the 5 and a hook in this game. So that's going to wrap our NHL. We're going to completely change gears, and no pun intended, but we're going to shift now to NASCAR. And what I'm talking about is the 64th running of the Daytona 500. That's going to take place this Sunday. Jimmy D and I are going to kind of break down. We each got a couple drivers that we like, that we think there's some good value in them. And our NASCAR guru, which is Dougie Betts, he'll be having a show later this weekend, and he's going to break down what he thinks. But Jimmy D and I, we're both NASCAR guys. Matter of fact, we've been to the Daytona 500, I don't know, almost maybe 10 times, Jimmy D. We've gone together,
yeah,
right?
It's been a few tracks, yeah.
Yeah, we've been to a few tracks, and we made the Daytona 500. It's been a few years, but we've been down there a number of times and had a good time. And I guess I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up Dale Earnhardt Sr., because believe it or not, Jimmy D, today it's 21 years ago that he passed away at the track.
That's right. We were actually at that race. I can remember we actually kind of left early to beat the traffic, and we were listening on the radio and how they described it, and we didn't realize till we got back to the hotel that he had passed away. It was on national TV and all that.
Oh.
But, yeah, that was kind of a downer. I remember that.
Yeah, it was. That was somber. Like that. Yeah. I mean, obviously, we went out to dinner, and everybody at the bars and the restaurants, they're all NASCAR fans, and even we still talk about it today. The 6'5" guy named Bubba from Alabama, they were literally crying, when the news came on that Earnhardt had passed. So, but yeah, you know what?
I remember that. Yeah.
You can't think of Daytona without thinking of him. But it's amazing. It was 21 years ago today. So, anyways, thoughts and prayers with the Earnhardt family. Okay, so let's look at this race taking place on Sunday, and actually, real quick, this is kind of a fun fact. It has nothing to do with the race, but Jimmy D is he's had a bunch of hot rods in his life, folks. He's a car guy, okay? And one of his hot rods was a Pontiac 70 GTO Pontiac 6-barrel, and it was a convertible. And him and I had a lot of fun in that hot rod. And Jimmy D, what I did is I looked up. There's been 64 Daytona 500s. Okay, now obviously Pontiac is no longer a manufacturer. They don't make them anymore. They just shut down. But out of those 64 races, and I know we didn't talk about this, and I'm just throwing this at you cold. But how many times do you think a Pontiac won the Daytona 500?
Oh, jeez. It's funny you say 64 races there. 64 was the first year they built the GTO. Just that's kind of interesting.
You know what? There you go. Told you he's a car guy.
Jeez. Oh man, you kind of got me hanging here. 64. I'm going to say 15. I'm just throwing it out there.
No.
I think I'm wrong because Petty had with the Mo power and all that power.
Listen, again, I just put you on the spot. It was 3 times.
That's it? Wow.
Yep. 61 with Marvin Parch. Okay. 62 Fireball Roberts.
Wow.
Okay. And then one time in 1983, Cale Yarborough. Okay.
Jeez.
In a Pontiac.
Yarborough won it one time in '83.
In a Pontiac Le Mans. Now, the reason I brought
it back-to-back years there.
He did. Now, here's the funny part of the story, and this is kind of why I brought this trivia here. Is he qualified, okay, in a Monte Carlo,
Okay, yeah,
All right?
right.
Matter of fact, he set the fastest lap, but he wrecked his car at the end of his qualifying. Okay? He didn't have a backup Monte Carlo. All right? They used an older version Pontiac Le Mans. They got it all lettered up overnight. He raced the next day, or not the next day because it was qualified, but he raced Daytona in a Pontiac Le Mans, and he won the race.
That was his backup car?
Backup car. Yep.
I wonder what the story is. I wonder why he didn't have a backup Monte Carlo. That's really strange. I know they're up to GM, but
again,
that's strange, isn't it?
Different time. Now remember, that was near the end of his career. Okay? You know what I mean? So I don't think he had.
Do you know if he used the Le Mans for maybe the Busch race back then, or is it? That's kind of strange to me. How that
he might have. I just don't think he had the sponsorship. You know what I mean? Like those guys didn't.
That's strange though.
Yeah, it is. It is. But yeah, because again, he won in a Pontiac Le Mans. He qualified in a Monte Carlo. That's a cool story. You know.
Yeah, somebody needs to investigate that. That's interesting. Why that? And I understand the GM reality. One's a like I said, a Chevrolet, and one's a Pontiac. That is strange. I don't. Yeah, that is really strange to me.
It is. So yeah, I don't know if one was his Busch car and the other. I don't know, but he won the race. But all right. So anyways, all right. So let's get to tonight's race, or Sunday night's race. All right. Last year, you can say a long shot won it. That was Michael McDowell. Okay. Yep. But again, what's the equalizer at Daytona? It's called the draft, and it's a restricted plate kind of race, right? So you can be not a perennial top finisher and win this race. That's what I love about Daytona, and I love about Talladega.
What do you think the big storyline is this year for Daytona?
I think it's the new car, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about, the numbers are moved up or back. I just think, again, they're trying to make the cars look just like the cars in the showroom.
Right.
Okay? And I like that. I do. Okay? Yep. Because, again, going back to, we just talked about, the 83 Le Mans, that was the same body style that you could go down to the dealership and get the next day. You know what I mean? Most of the cars in the last 15, 20 years, they don't look anything like what you can buy. Right. You know what I mean? So they're trying that. What do you think about the single lug nut now? You know what I mean? It's like an Indy car on the tires.
I don't like. You know what? I don't like that.
Yeah.
Because you get somebody like me, I could change your tire for you. I mean, I think I could do that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I don't. It takes away the talent of the pit crew a little bit. Don't you think?
I do. I just, you know what? Maybe it's better for TV. I don't know, but yeah, it's now it's just like Indy cars. You know, they pop them up. It's one wrench, pull it off, put the tire on, and it goes. A couple seconds. I'm assuming.
Their argument is they're saying is, now it has to do with completely do with the driver. You know what I mean? The driver is the one that's going to win this race. Before it might have been your pit crew. Yep. If you get a top-notch pit crew, like Earnhardt had or Jeff Gordon had back in the day, when they had the top crew, they could get the guys out early. You know what I mean? They gave an advantage to your team.
True.
So maybe that's what they're thinking. They want to take away that kind of. I don't know why. I think it's part of racing.
It is. What I mean? Listen, it's just like in the NFL. You got offense, defense, and special teams. So same thing with NASCAR. You got your driver. You got your pit crew, and you got your crew chief. You know what I mean? Who's calling the race? Who's your spotter? You know what I mean? So there's all kinds of factors. So again, maybe a couple races in, I won't even notice. But
I probably wouldn't have noticed either. I'd notice if it was when I first watched it. But maybe if it doesn't make a difference, maybe it doesn't matter, right? No,
exactly. So like you said, let the drivers win the race or lose the race and how they drive. So, all right, let's get to the race, okay? Couple drivers that I'm looking at, Jimmy D, is first guy starting in the 14th row, the 7th row in the 14th spot, and that's the number 19, Martin Truex Jr. Now he's a plus 2,000, okay? Yep. He's never won this race. He's had some good finishes. He had a pretty good week of practice, pretty good duel. Again, Toyota, it's got good equipment. I think it could be his year. So I got Martin Truex Jr. plus 2,000 as one of my two drivers. Who are you looking at first?
Yeah, I'm looking at first guy I'm looking at is Ryan Blaney. For the Penske team.
Good choice.
I think he's going to have a break. I hope he has a breakout year, or I think he's going to have a breakout year this year. He's at a plus 1,000. He started out of the 7th hole, which is a good position at Daytona.
Yeah.
I think he finished 3rd at the duels.
Yep.
I got him as one of my top guys, possibly winning this race.
All right. Yeah. No, that's a solid play. He's had some really good restrictor plate races. He knows how to draft. He stays out of trouble, and he's got a teammate. And Keselowski, right? They're all going to be helping each other. So I think.
And Logano.
And Logano, yeah. Oh no, excuse me. Keselowski's not with him anymore. He's with Roush.
Yeah.
See, my brain just. I got it. Remember, it's 2022 now. All right. So Logano and Blaney. See, I caught myself there. So all right, my second pick is a cat that's starting way back in the field, and that's the number 10 of Aric Almirola. All right. Now he's plus 2,800 to win this race, and obviously it has a lot to do with his starting position. But 2018, 2019, 1 lap to go, Daytona 500. He was leading the race. Got a little hump, got a little bump from the eventual race winner, Austin Dillon. Other than that, he had a chance of bringing home the checkered flag at the Daytona 500. He's had a couple other really good runs at Daytona. He's retiring, Jimmy D, at the end of this year. Okay.
Oh, is he? Wow.
Yeah. So, like you say, no hold barred, right? And no pressure. Just let it rip. And his team owner, Tony Stewart, that's how he is. Just let it rip. So I think Aric Almirola's got no pressure. Okay. I think he's going to hammer down, and he's my second choice. If I'm going to take two drivers with decent odds, those are my two.
Yeah, I like it. My second guy I'm picking is the other the tag team, the other Penske driver is Joey Logano.
Yeah, good choice. Good choice.
He started a little back at the 20 hole. He is a previous winner of the Daytona. I believe it was 2015. He's a plus 1,200. I know he won the race last week there over at the Coliseum in California. So that's what I'm going with. I think he's got a solid shot at winning and probably definitely top 5, top 10.
Yeah, good choice. Good choice. So, all right. So, to recap, I got Martin Truex Jr., and I got Aric Almirola, and you have Blaney and Logano.
Yeah, and my dark horse, and the reason I'm saying dark horse is he started out at 36 hole is Austin Dillon.
Yeah.
He's always done well at Daytona. The number 3 car, obviously.
That's right.
And he's a plus 1,800. I probably would have picked him if he was up closer, but being at 36, and you always have a good crash at Daytona. I just think that's tough to make up that much ground, but he has a shot.
Does.
But he's kind of my dark horse.
That's good. He's won the race. He's always.
He won it 2018, I think.
Yeah. And you know what? He tends to keep his car out of messes for the most part. So and it's the number 3, right? So Dale Earnhardt, man. You know what I mean? You got to be rooting for that car. All right. That's going to put a wrap on our NASCAR pick. Oh, real quick. 2 driver matchups that I had. Obviously, I like Martin Truex Jr. He's matched up against Christopher Bell. I think he's going to finish ahead of Christopher Bell. And I also have Aric Almirola. He's matched up against Bubba Wallace. I think he's going to finish ahead of Bubba Wallace. So those are my plays for the Daytona 500. So, all right, folks, that's going to put a wrap on tonight's picks and plays. Hopefully you take our picks and you go cash some ticks. So, listen, we appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you check out all our socials. The number 7 and a hook. It's on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And then, obviously, YouTube, 7 and a Hook Podcast. Give us a subscribe. So, on behalf of everybody here at the 7 and a Hook Podcast and my co-host in crime tonight, Jimmy D, we're going to head to the exits here on 7 and a Hook. So, hey, as we always say, may your bad beats be small and your big wins be monster.
Thanks again for tuning in to the 7 and a Hook podcast. Until next time, may your bad beats be small and your big wins be monster.